Hey guys, this is the beginning of a new series of tracking some options trading from one of the personalities on Tasty Live. We're going to be tracking Dr. Jim's and his work. Tasty is a platform and trading platform that that focuses mainly on options trading. So if you've done options trading, you've more than likely come across them. I know I came across them a few years back, and that light bulb clicked. What they were saying seemed to be true, and once you start doing this stuff, it works, and it's worked for me for the past several years. But one of those nagging questions was always, are these guys making money as they do it? And I've always thought, it'd be nice to track all their trades and keep it all grouped together and see how their performance is. And so that I thought that with the beginning of the new year, I would start doing that with Dr. Jim. I know near the end of the year, Dr. Jim said he lost like maybe 10% last year because of a couple of bad earnings trades. One of them being Target. And I thought, yeah, at least he didn't blow his account out, because the tasty way of doing things should prevent you from blowing your account out at the very least. You should be able to make money in the long run as long as you follow what they're doing, but don't trade what they're trading. So I thought I'd go through this. This is the week one. So Dr. Jim was on vacation for week one, so there's nothing there. So I thought I'd use this as a opportunity to do the setup and kind of go over how I'll be tracking and going through things. So we'll start off with this year-end position. So I took this off of like the December 29th show for Dr. Jim right before the new year. And he did do a screen splash of his open positions, and I've taken these open positions and went back and found the trades and built it into a spreadsheet for tracking purposes. So what we have all the open positions at the beginning of the year, and then as he makes new trades, we'll put them in and start following those trades as well. Now I know off the bat that I couldn't really determine exactly what the QQQ trade is. It might be like a butterfly or something where he is looking to try to nail price at a certain point in time and collect. So it may have been a debit trade with a hopefully of a payoff. Otherwise, it's a small loss. But other than that, all the rest I have captured in a spreadsheet, and we'll track those as open positions at the beginning of the year, and we'll travel along from that. So right here, I'm bringing up the Dr. Jim spreadsheet, and oops, this is not Dr. Jim's spreadsheet. Okay. So as you can see, I put the starting assets at 50,000. So this is a top level view of the portfolio. So this is my portfolio tracker that I use for some of the trading accounts that I run on my own. And I've developed this to capture high level information to make sure that I'm on step, and we'll kind of use this for looking at how Dr. Jim's portfolio is performing, because Tasty doesn't really go into portfolio management. They are focused on doing the trade and managing the trade. And those are important things you need to know as an options trader. But as your account grows, you need to start looking at, should I do this trade in relation to what my portfolio needs or not, and not just putting trades to be putting trades on. And that way it focuses your whole trading style, and you start looking at long term, making better decisions on picking winners and dropping your losers as quick as possible. Okay, so we're going to start his balance off at 50,000 because it says he's a 50,000 trading account, so everything should be in and around $50,000 as his balance. And as we go through the year, we'll see how that improves or doesn't improve. And the trades that I've recorded, I gave an estimate on what the capital requirements are. As we progress through the year, I'll make sure at the end of each week that I'll update what the capital requirements for each open trade is, because just because you open up a trade, You start off with this is the capital that required, and then as you progress, it fluctuates every day as you're trading because the prices on the underlyings change, and because of that, the capital requirements for backing that trade change. And I always like to record the high water mark as my capital that was required for that trade. So if it starts moving against you and your capital requirements keep increasing on that trade, that's the capital that you need to start looking at as what is my return on the capital. So I don't expect any additions to come in. So if I look at right now, we'll switch to the open trades. So these are the open trades that I have for Dr. Jim at the beginning of the year. I have a column here for initial capital requirements. And then I have what's called capital reserve. So these should be the same when you open it up for the first time, but as it progresses, your capital reserves will change. And this capital reserve is what I will pull into my capital deployed area right here. That way I know what I'm required to have and I can keep track. So right now he's sitting at 18%, and way the VIX is running at its levels, it's like below 15. You do want to be down 20, 25%. I don't have the QQQ trade, but if it adds another 1,000 or two, you're still going to be under 20% or around 20%. So he's in a good setup where he can do some additional trades. If you watch the Tasty platform, they recommend running at about 30%, but as VIX starts decreasing, you know your odds of some kind of event or something, some kind of spike in VIX will happen. And when that happens, the capital requirements for everything will go up because usually your stock prices fall. And options that were out of the money go in the money really quick. And then that will like overnight double your capital requirements. And so by keeping small on your capital deployed, a doubling would put me at 40%. And that means you're getting on the verge of where you'd be into trouble, but you're not going to be in trouble. You know, you're not going to be blowing your account out if there's a black swan event and everything goes in the money on you. Okay, so we'll go back. I try to capture some stats on it, the initial credit that you collected, and then when you close out the position, we'll get a final thing, and then we'll calculate your return on capital for that trade. Keep track of how many days the trade's been in, and this is kind of a worthless thing that could pop up. It's an annualized rate of return. It's just to give you an idea of some of the power behind the options. You can have like 1,000% return if you annualized it while you're in the trade for 3 days and you made 10%. And then I have a running year-to-date gain or loss that kind of feeds in for this little map, and hopefully it goes up and to the right for your profitability. It's going to be jagged and stuff as losses are incurred. Oops, stepping ahead. And then for some of the stats of gathering, the month closed, I like to look at the average last 10 trades. What's the average days that you've been in those trades? If it starts creeping up, you're starting to be challenged in your positions, and your portfolio performance will drop when that starts happening. I like to keep track of the weeks and whether the play is an earnings play or not, because it will build more stats for the portfolio to look at. This is like the month it was opened. And then this is the week it was opened in, and the week it was closed in. And then I like to keep track of the risk type, whether it's undefined or defined, and then the actual trade itself. What was it? Was it a strangle, a put debit spread, a put credit spread, strangle, an iron condor? Just to where we can start seeing my wins and losses. What are they? What kind of trades am I winning at? What kind of trades am I not winning at? And we can keep track of all these kind of stats to where it makes you improve on your stats and your trading. So if you have improved trading, you have improved wins, and the more you make. Okay, so for each one of these positions, I do like to keep like an accounting of that position. So it's an ongoing, it's like the like the feature in Tasty Trade where you keep track of the chain of trades related to that position that you're in. It the Tasty Trade is not 100%, and it doesn't keep track of like your fees and stuff incurred. And at the end of the day, you want to know what you had net fees and stuff. And there's an example. This is like the Target trade. When I built it all the way through the end of the year, Dr. Jim has collected $1,100 in credits. So he's still defending that position, but he is, well, I mean, he's collected credits, and we have to start looking at to see if I closed it out today, would I be profitable or not? And, he's going to try to run it probably until he can expire the options on their own. And by knowing that he collected all these credits while doing this, that he made money overall. Okay? So as we keep digging in through the year and looking at trades, this page will look at as part of the recording of what the activity was. Okay, so I think I'll cut it off there because this is just a quick intro of what I'm going to do with this year project of tracking Dr. Jim's trades on Tasty Live. Okay, thank you.